Do you think that you make too much money to qualify for financial aid? A lot of families skip filling out the FAFSA, and that can actually cost you a lot of money. I'm going to break down the pros and cons of filling out the FAFSA. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So, students and families fill this out to determine if they are eligible for financial aid from the federal government in terms of grants, loans, work study, and need based aid. So, the question then becomes how do I know if I'm going to qualify for any of this aid? Should I even bother filing if I have a high income, or what is the threshold? So I'm going to talk first about the pros. Many families assume that they won't qualify, and while there is no specific threshold for a cutoff for your income, there are several factors that go into determining eligibility. So, income is obviously important. It's based off of your tax forms from the year before and the year before that. There are other factors that go along with it, like family size, assets, and the cost of attendance that your child will go to in the future. So, don't think that it's income alone that will qualify or disqualify you from receiving federal financial aid. The next pro is that you don't really know what's going to happen in the future. There can be unforeseen financial changes, job loss, disability, things like that. And if you do not file the FAFSA, you can be in danger of not being eligible to receive loans in subsequent years. So that alone makes it a good idea. It's kind of like a safeguard against the unforeseen changes that could happen in your financial life in the next year. And finally, another pro is that there are some schools who will require a FAFSA to have eligibility for merit aid. Two of the schools that did this last year were Virginia Tech and Fordham. There are also other schools that will say, okay, you're eligible, you apply to the school, you get merit aid, but then you have to fill out the FAFSA in order to receive the merit aid. So I would encourage you to check at each of the schools that your child's going to apply to see if there is some kind of tie-in with FAFSA to determine merit aid eligibility. Okay, let's talk about the cons. First up, privacy. A lot of families don't want to fill it out because they feel like it's an invasion of privacy. You have to fill out forms, which takes some time, and it just feels like information that you don't want to share. Another con, and this is a real thing, and this is probably the biggest thing I would consider, is that some colleges prefer full pay students. It is true. So if you do not file the FAFSA, then a college will say, okay, this person is full pay. They like that. It's more money for them. It's more tuition money. It covers some of their expenses. So that's definitely a consideration. And then finally, if you are truly full pay anyway, meaning you have a high enough income to be able to cover the costs of college, including tuition and fees and travel and living expenses, and you have a nice cushion, then you might be okay not filing the FAFSA. Let's move on to some practical tips. So if you're unsure whether or not you should file, you can reach out to the financial aid office at the colleges that your child is applying and see what they say about you filling out the FAFSA. You can also determine eligibility with schools by looking at their net price calculator. So just Google the name of the school and net price calculator. That's going to share how much you should be expected to pay, and that should give you some indicator of whether or not you are eligible for any financial aid. I think the next tip is just to weigh your financial situation against the potential risk. So if you feel like you have enough to cover the cost of attendance for your child for the time they're going to be in college with what you have presently, you're probably going to be fine. If you think there's a chance that you will not be able to cover that, maybe based on some circumstances happening in your life, then it's probably better to file. And then finally, if there's any chance that you want to be considered for need-based aid, you should file, absolutely. So for most families, the benefits of filing the FAFSA outweigh the drawbacks. Filing the FAFSA is going to keep doors open financially in the next few years. If you liked this video, subscribe for more information on college readiness, college applications, and test prep. Thanks.